AS-Level. Equations, expressions, identities, and inequalities. Exam preparation questions, part 5. In this one, we will look at completing the square of a quadratic function. You will find this from page 26 in the grade 12 AS-Level Mathematics textbook, y equals mx plus c to success. Again, I'm emphasizing this. Go to the basics, work through the textbook, go to that videos, and then you can come to this final videos, exam preparation. So, the function f is defined by fx, and then they give you. For x is an element of real numbers. Express this in the form. Hence, find the set of values of x for which this is smaller than 9, giving your answer in exact form. Can you remember I mentioned it in the previous video, and I'll show you now. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger that you see even better. Okay, so can you remember how we do that? It's usually what we do is we write the first two terms. Okay, this is the first one, then we leave a space, and then we write that last one, and then we go. So what we do is we take that 4, and we can say -4, and we divide it by 2 always, and we square it. And whatever we add, let's rather say it in blue, whatever we add, we are also going to subtract. So exactly that same we subtract, so that if it cancel out, we actually didn't change the expression. And now we just simplify. Then this is a complete square. So this is going to be x. This is going to be that sign, -2 square. And I simplify here. Okay, and I get +4. And that's how I do that. Okay, now they want, if they say use the word henge, it's like they want you to use the example in A to continue. So find the set of values of fx. So in the place of this fx, you're now going to substitute that, because that is exactly equal to that. And then you bring it over. And if you bring it over, you say 4 minus 9, or you take this one over. So it's 9 minus 4, and it's 5. And then I'm just going to end up by, okay, but before I'm going to this, it's fine. I can actually just leave it like this. Do it exactly as this is now a quadratic inequality. So sketch the graph of this. Okay, so I'm basically just going to sketch that graph. So then I'm just going to say, if this is going to go over, so basically, let's just rather say, sketch the graph of y equals, we can call it like this, x minus 2 squared minus 5. Okay, you can do it like this. And then, because the 5 goes over, then this becomes a 0, okay? And then it's x minus 2 squared, okay, minus 5. And then the 5 goes over, okay, now I'm on the incorrect side, but it's x minus 2, and there is your square. And then to get rid of that square, you are just going to say, okay, I'm just doing it here now. You're going to say x minus 2, I'm swapping sides, okay, and it's plus minus 5. And now I bring, so I didn't show you all that steps, but I'll show you now. Then I bring the 2, and it's plus minus square root of 5. Did you see how I came to that? Okay, so basically, this is now 2 minus 5, this is 2 plus 5. But if I'm going to go back, and this was smaller, okay, so I could have bring it over and say smaller, then it's always, can you remember, if it's smaller, then I highlight this part. Okay, that is too big. So it's from there on. And then x will be bigger than this and smaller. But you leave it, you don't work it in decimals. Exact is meaning you leave it in the root, because then you did not approximate it, basically. Okay, so I just wanted to show you. I could have changed, as I said, a little bit here, the order, before I went into that sketching. Okay. Now, I want you to stop the video, and I want you to do number 1 and number 2. Again, you can continue the video as soon as you are finished. Okay, let's just go a little bit smaller, that we have space, and we clean a little bit, that we really have that space. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Number 1a. Express this in the form this, exactly the same, where p and q are constant. So let's start with this one. It was x squared minus 8x plus 11. Okay, now I like to do it like this, and I couldn't show you in that one because it was already typed. I leave a space, and then I write the 11. And then I say plus, and I can put it inside, it's not going to, and I divide it by 2, and I square. And whatever I add, okay, don't forget that was plus, I subtract. So it's minus 8 over 2 squared. And then it's going to be, okay, now this is a perfect square. So this is going to be x minus, and this is going to just be 4, okay? And it's going to be squared, and it's going to be 11. And this is going to be 4, negative 4, so it's going to be 16. Can you see that? So it's going to be x minus 4. And this is going to be negative 5. Oh, not plus 5, but negative 5. Okay, and that's number A. They love, in chapter 3, we will also do it a lot. In functions, it's also a lot that we express it in this form. Okay, then number B. Hence, find the exact solution of the equation. Now again, if you look, you will see that it was x squared minus 8x plus 11 equals 1. So can I just show you? This is exactly that. But they want me, because they use the word hence, they want me to substitute that x minus 4. But now it's not an inequality, so it's actually easier. I substitute now that in. And now I basically just going to say x minus 4. And if I take it over, it's going to be 6. Okay. And then I'm just going to say x minus 4. I get rid of the square by square rooting the 6. And don't forget your plus minus. And then don't forget to take this 4 over. So x equals 4 plus square root 6, or x equals 4 minus square root 6. And that is your answer. Okay, so I showed you an example where they can ask it to you the exact in terms of an inequality or in terms of an equation. This one is actually easier. Okay, so let's just do the next one. Let's just make space for the next one. Okay, number 2. So I have to change colors a little bit. Express this in the form this. Now, this is very interesting. Do you see the 2 is inside? And I'll show you. But first do your normal method. It's just part of simplifying that we will do this. And this is a very interesting one. And I want to show this to you. Okay, so it's going to be 4x squared minus 12x. Now, do it like you used to. If there's a 4, you take 4 out. Can you remember this? And again, go to the textbook. Okay. So this is going to be x squared minus 3x. Okay. Okay. Now, there's nothing. So if it's nothing, it's fine. So I'm going to add 3 over 2 or negative 3 over 2, it doesn't matter, square. And I'm going to subtract negative 3 over 2 square. So there's just not something to simplify, but I do exactly the same. So now I'm just going to have 4, okay? And I'm going to simplify now. Okay, now don't forget that's your perfect square. So that's going to be x, okay, minus 3 over 2 square minus, Now, negative times negative is positive, so it's going to be 9/4. Okay. But now comes the simplifying. Now, I can do a long method. Maybe you can do a shorter method, but this is the method which I know. So I'm first just doing this. And don't forget, if you multiply that in, you get -9. Okay. Yes, don't forget your square. It's not coming out nice. But now they don't want that. They want it in this form. 2x. Okay, now let's just play around. We're just going to play around with this part. Now, can I just show you? What we're first going to do, make it 4. I think I'd rather keep my color. Make it 4. Make it x minus 3/2. X minus 3/2. And leave your 9. Okay, keep the 4. Multiply this out. So you're going to get x squared minus 3/2x minus 3/2x plus 3 times 3 is 9/4 minus 9. Okay, so you're going to get 4. You're going to get x squared minus, this is going to be 6/2. Do you see? So 6/2 is going to be -3. Do you see that? Okay, so it's 6/2, so it's -3x plus 9/4. Okay, now don't forget your 9. Then you're going to get, now I'm going to multiply it in. So you're going to get 4x squared minus 12x, and this one, can the 4 cancel out? So plus 9, don't forget it was in brackets, minus 9. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to factorize this. So if I factorize this, it's going to be 3 and 3 and 2 and 2. Do you see that? Because that's 6 plus 6, it's in group A. You add the over cross products, and that's going to be 12. And the signs are the same, negative, negative, x, x. So you are going to end up with 2x minus 3 squared minus 9. And if you look, can I just show you here? Okay, I just want to clean first that you see better. Do you see? You have that 2x that they were talking. They wanted it to be like that. So the value of A was -3 and the value of B was -9, but they didn't ask that. Okay, so just this is something that I just wanted to show you. Hence or otherwise, find the set of values that satisfied this equation. Now, if you go, let's just go to number B. I'm just going to make space again. I just have to remember this. I'm just going to write the answer down here. It's 2x minus 3. Of course, I'm going to clean now. Maybe I need this. Okay. Okay, let's start with number 2b. Okay, so they start by saying 4x squared minus 12x is bigger than 7. But do you see that that is exactly, and they use the word hence. So what they want me to do is they want me to substitute this, which I showed you there. So 2x minus 3 squared minus 9, because that is equal, and that's bigger than 7. So then it's 2x minus 3 squared, and that is going to be minus 16, and that's bigger than 0. Okay, so basically this is now also a quadratic inequalities, and I'm going to sketch, and I'm going to write it this one a bit better for you. So I'm going to sketch the graph. You don't have to write it like this, but I just, because the other one I felt I could have write better. Okay, 16. So I can see that that is A. So I can see that A is bigger than 0. So it's a minimum value. Okay, so for x-intercept, make y 0. So for x-intercept, y 0. So basically, I'm just going to get 0, and I prefer writing it on the other side. So let me just, to say 2x minus 3 square minus 16, and that will be equal to 0. Okay, and then it's 2x minus 3 square is equal to 16. So 2x minus 3 equals plus minus square root of 16. So it's 2x minus 3 equals plus minus 4. That's nice. So 2x minus 3 equals 4. I'm doing it long. 2x minus 3 equals negative 4. Okay, let's just go. Just do it on the side so it's not interfering with my sum. So this one is going to be 7. And then it divide 2. So x is going to be 7 over 2. And this one, it's negative 4 plus 3. So it's 2x equals negative 1. Divide 2. So x is negative a half. And then I'm just going to do exactly the same. I'm bringing my graph in. And I'm bringing my points in. So my points was now 3.5 or 7 over 2, it doesn't matter. And it's negative half. This was my graph. Just get another color. And then I go back to the inequality. Okay, so bigger. If it's bigger, it's, and again I'm in the color that I cannot use, bigger. Okay, I'll use the blue at least. And now I can just go to my sketch and I can say, okay, therefore, x is smaller than a half, or x is bigger than 7 over 2. Okay, so just do this very briefly on the side and just end with this. This is the most important. Okay, interesting question, very nice question. I like this. A bit more challenging, I would say. And then I want to end this last video for this year. I want to on this chapter. So maybe next year I'll add, but for now it's too many chapters still waiting for me. So express this in the form. It's just that I saw this and I think sometimes that people think there's a printing mistake or something like that, and it's not. And I think even in the teacher's guide, in the reprinted one, it will be correct. But in the teacher's guide, I think it was also not expressed like that. Okay, so I'm going to show you. Okay, so basically, if they say express this in the form, and again you see that story, it's not 1. Now, then look at this, and this is also a method which I want to show you now. Think a little bit different. So basically, I'm going to break this 10 up into 2 parts. I'm going to say 9 plus 1. Because if I break it up in 9, then I'm creating a perfect square there. Do you see? Because then that is going to be 3 and 3 and 4 and 4. And if I going to, so it's 12 plus 12, 24 minus, and then it's plus 1. So it's actually very, very easy. Okay. And this is why I was looking for it, an example. And then I went back to, in the textbook, you will find an example like this. And it's try now 14 on page 115, and it's number 1A. As I said, I didn't think I could, in the new, the teacher's guides, it's corrected already, but in the reprint, it will be corrected. Okay, so stop the video first and just try to do it. And as soon as you are finished, you can continue the video because it's very, very simple. Okay, let's start. So this is try now 6. So this is going to be 4x squared plus 12x plus 10. And I see that they want it in ax plus b squared plus c. Okay, so I already get the feeling that there must be something in front of the x. So, but if I break it up again like that, let's try to create a perfect square by just breaking up this number. And coincidentally, it's also now 9 plus 1. Now, factorize that. So if you factorize that, it's going to be 3 and 3, and this is 2 and 2. And this is 6 plus 6, and that's 12. And the signs are the same, plus, plus. So basically, I'm going to get 2x plus 3 squared plus 1. And I can see, therefore, if they ask it, the value of A is 2, the value of B is 3, and the value of C is 1. And that's how I do it. So just take note, that's an example from the textbook. Again, because this is now my last, I'm just going to end in this chapter, this video, and I'm just going to say again, if you don't have a copy of a textbook that you can use, because it's very important that you go to the basics, to the textbook, then you can find a copy of the textbook or try to buy a copy of the textbook at one of the following bookshops.